So this is the KhoodeelaarTV television channel broadcasting under the banner of BabyAngelGeronimo editions. This is continuing the BabyAngelGeronimo manifesto for animals and humans, which we have created uniquely. And this is the edition at 6:30 in GMT on Saturday, the 10th of February 2024. One of the items in the Times newspaper, London, dated the 9th of February 2024, Friday, 9th of February 2024, in the World section on page 33, is headlined, "Grieving Pet Owners Pay Through the Nose." It's a piece that is originated in United States in New York, and the byline is to Will Pabia. And the first paragraph reads, "The head of the Association for Pet Loss and Bereavement lives on a rocky encampment 40 miles west of Toronto, that is in Canada, where every so often she is visited by a client suffering from a grief that dare not speak its name. Deep sadness over the loss of a cat or a dog is not taken seriously by society," says Colleen Rowland, whose home overlooks a nature reserve on the shore of Lake Ontario. Often, the people themselves cannot quite believe it either. "I can't tell you how many times I have dealt with a client who has looked at me very sheepishly and said, 'I'm grieving more for Sparky or Mickey or whoever than I did for my mother, my father, my wife,' she says. They think they are crazy because how can they be so upset?" Roland, 67, who also has a company called Pet Bereavement Service in the wake of the pandemic. Online support groups have sprung up, and veterinary hospitals have hired social workers. Demand has risen as veterinary medicine has advanced and people are getting more and more involved in care with their pets, says Judith Harbour, a clinical social worker at the Schwarzman Animal Medical Center in New York. The hospital boasts what is believed to be the longest running pet bereavement support group, founded in 1980s. Harbour, 40, comes from Houston, where as a child she felt attached to a paint pony named Patches, who lived nearby. She trained as a social worker but wanted to integrate animals into her practice. She was hired by the veterinary hospital as a full-time social worker in 2019 and holds meetings online for people whose pet has died. Now, this is a story that is treating the animals as a subsidiary. And the main emphasis is on the careers of these people. Now, let me say this one. In the United Kingdom, they often use the phrase national animal lovers. National animal lovers, illustrated by the nation allowing mass murders, massacres of innocent foxes every year, every so often. National animal lovers condemns people with animals to desperate desolation. People who are made homeless, evicted, and have animals, cats or dogs, are practically pushed to death with their animals. Because in the United Kingdom, there is no law and there is no legal forum, there is no legal framework for protecting animals who live with a human with low income. And the business called the veterinary services or veterinary businesses are units of murderers. Units of murderers. And the so-called Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, RSPCA, is a legitimizer of mass murders, mass cruelty, mass neglect of cats and dogs and other animals. So this Times piece, which is headed "Grieving Pet Owners Pay Through the Nose," is completely incomplete, misleading, and doesn't take into account the fact that each and every animal is a person. And there is nothing in the existing British laws for what they are that even remotely takes into account the possibility that a person being evicted might have serious responsibility for looking after a cat or a dog as part of their family. Only those who live with a cat or a dog or cats and dogs know what they think of their cats and dogs, their children. In fact, this quotation from this woman from Ontario, Lake Ontario area in Canada, comes very near to expressing the feeling that people who come there for her counseling support say that they feel they miss the cat or the dog more than they miss their mother or their father or their wife. On the 10th of November 1993, 10th of November 1993, I cannot refer to that date frequently enough. I was shocked. I was shocked by the fact that two Metropolitan Police women arrived at my address in London E11HE out of the blue. And completely out of the blue, they threatened me with arrest if I attempted to enter my home. If I attempted to open my front door, inside the house were 13 to 14 cats. I had no idea, absolutely no idea, absolutely no experience, no knowledge up to that day what eviction meant. Now, how do you get 13 to 14 cats to safety? And you cannot even talk to them. You cannot explain to them what is happening. Two Metropolitan Police women were threatening me with arrest. And I'm not a criminal. I never committed a crime. And they were treating me as worse than a criminal. Now, who had given them the authority to tell me that they would arrest me if I attempted to enter my home? I had been to the Shoreditch County Court earlier on the day, and I had been sent there by a misinformation communication from the court. When I went there on the assumption that I would be given a hearing by a magistrate against the eviction. The history of the eviction is very long and very, very, very distressing indeed. Back to the day outside the address in E1HE, I couldn't argue with the two police women. Why? Because there would have been no witness. There was no witness there that independently could note what they were doing. And if I got involved in them being physically violent with me under whatever pretext to arrest me, my concern was the safety of the 13 to 14 cats. Now, going to a bat business with one single unwell cat is so expensive, so prohibitive, that it cannot be described without a very long, detailed kind of series of stages that people have to go through. And I shall cover all those items, all these aspects in due course, not in this particular broadcast, but this is just an introduction. This is a contextual introduction, and I'm covering this based on this piece, Grieving Pet Owners Pay Through the Nose. Neither the Times nor the person who wrote this, not the people who have been actually quoted there favorably, counselors and social workers, etc., has come across with anything nearly factual about the dire, desperate state of cruelty, neglect to animals that is allowed openly in plain sight in the United Kingdom. Now, this will be continued. So go to the banner of this broadcast, Baby Angel Geronimo. Why do I care about Baby Angel Geronimo? Because Baby Angel Geronimo, as I have uniquely called him, is a unique witness. to everything that is wrong about the behavior of human beings, making decisions affecting the rights and needs and safety of animals, in this case, baby angel Geronimo. I have adopted him as one of my babies, and he shall remain part of the family, ethical, moral, spiritual family of babies that I love and adore, and I'm concerned about, and I'm motivated to protect. The baby angel Geronimo is the name of the alpaca who symbolizes the evidence that cannot be compared with the evidence available to another human being. It can only be compared to the evidence being gathered by angels. The angels, one on the right shoulder of a human being and the other on the left shoulder of the human being. And those angels are recording every single event, every single aspect of the behavior of a human being. And that recorded evidence will be presented before God on the day of judgment. So, what baby angel Geronimo has been subject to or subjected to will only be known to baby angel Geronimo himself and to the angels. No human being could conceivably understand even a tiny fraction of the overwhelmingly astonishing depth of depravity, criminality, cruelty that decision-making individuals in the United Kingdom sing to and have sung to. Baby angel Geronimo was born in a family of alpacas, lovingly kept and protected by a woman called Leonie Walker in New Zealand. And Leonie Walker misses baby angel Geronimo, because although he was only one of many other alpacas in the family, she told the Times newspaper of London in August 2021 that he is mischievous. He's got a sense of mischief, and she misses him. He's got a personality. Now, baby angel Geronimo was invited, let's say, to join a woman called Helen MacDonald in South Gloucestershire in England in 2017. And when he came to join Helen MacDonald, who is herself an alpaca breeder, an alpaca keeper, she, a trained veterinary nurse, but not working as a veterinary nurse, but working as a alpaca breeder and seller of the wool and whatever, in good faith, and in my view, on the facts, on the evidence, totally mistakenly offered baby angel Geronimo to be tested by the Department for Environment called DEFRA, DEFRA, and unknown to Helen MacDonald, who never could have suspected this, these criminals fabricated the whole test. And they lied from the beginning. And they said, which is absolutely untrue, untruthfully, and maliciously, that baby angel Geronimo was infected with bovine tuberculosis, which he wasn't, which he could not be, which he cannot be. Because before leaving New Zealand, baby angel Geronimo was tested as routine by Leonie Walker herself. And baby angel Geronimo passed the test with totally negative result. That is to say, he was free from any infection and all infections. As we have said in the many editions of this program during the last 2 years, 3 years, baby angel Geronimo could not have been infected, but they invented a test that produced a false result. And on the 29th of July 2021, sitting in the High Court in London, United Kingdom, High Court judge called Griffiths lied through his teeth. And he said that although baby angel Geronimo was innocent, was free from actual infection, that innocence and that freedom from contamination could be ignored. And instead, baby angel Geronimo could be condemned for being innocent, for being in the best of health. Because to condemn baby angel Geronimo to that was the entitlement of the cabinet minister. At that time, the minister was the evilness called George Injustice Eustace. Briefed by the evilness personified, called the chief bat, a woman called Christine Middlemiss. So it happened, yes, the actual distortion of the test, the invention of the falsehood by the DEFRA criminals happened 3 years before the COVID-19 arrived in the world, in the United Kingdom. And what the COVID-19 inquiry has been hearing is a series of evidence, testimonies, showing how the UK government departments employ criminals who intentionally lie. Intentionally lie. And of course, as the notorious utterance by the criminal, the congenital liar, the evilness personified, Boris Johnson has been on the record as saying, let the bodies pile high. He wasn't even talking about alpacas or other animals. He was talking about human beings who he was simultaneously boasting of protecting, while in fact, privately he was saying this, that let the people die of COVID-19. So we shall be talking about all of those and also update accordingly about the criminal outfits run as vets businesses or charities. One is the RSPCA, and the other, based in Tower Hamlets, is called PDSA. The PDSA was originally set up by a woman 100 years or so ago, People's Dispensary for Sick Animals. And it has been completely reversed. Its aim and purpose of helping people with low income or no income look after the animals has been stood upside down. And the criminals who control the PDSA are murderers. Murderers. And the RSPCA is an organization, is a bigger gang of murderers. There is no sign of any of that happening in this piece in the Times of 9th of February 2024, which is headed Grieving Pet Owners Pay Through the Nose, as if it's happening only in Canada or in the USA. It's costly. And if the evidence of taking the baby Scudgy to the vets in Woodford in East London is any guide, baby Scudge fell ill in 1989. So from 1989 for 2 years, I took the baby Scudge to the vets. And the bill every time was indescribably high. Now it is impossible, absolutely impossible to find that kind of money when the income is obstructed and denied. I would have needed a daily income of several £100 to be able to pay the vets for just seeing baby Scudge. So imagine the details of the steps that I had to take for 700, let's say, days. So if you multiply 700, by several hundred, it's millions and millions of pounds. That is the equivalent resources that I had to find. And there is no vet's business that is run by personnel who are compassionate, caring, social. On top of that, when I was doing that, when I was having to take baby angel Scudgy to the vets, I was also campaigning. I was involved in political campaign, which included my being featured in mainstream television news every single week for several months. And the racists that actually were connected with the particular vet's business in Woodford that I went to, where I had to take this Scudgy to, the racists watched me on television and they developed an aggravated sense of hatred against me because I was standing up for principles against racist society, etc., etc. And on one occasion, the boyfriend of a receptionist at the vet appeared while I was waiting for the Scudgy to be seen on that day. And this racist criminal shit tried his worst to provoke me by having a series of confrontational statements to me. He had nothing to do with me. He had no business coming there, but his racist girlfriend called him. So that incident is absolutely horrifying. Imagine you are concerned with your baby dog or cat and you are concerned about their welfare, their health. You are worried about them and you are waiting for the vet to look at them and tell you what the state of their health was at that time. And you are confronted by a racist who comes and challenges you on the politics that he has seen you involved in on television. Where do you begin? Who do you call? That entails over hundreds of breaches of hundreds of laws and rights. And how can you begin to account for that kind of, or give an account of that kind of behavior? So if you are a member of the community society and in a racist society, you have a cat or a dog and you have got a sick cat or a sick dog, and you take them to the vet, which is run by racists. I mean, what kind of comfort is that? What kind of support can you get? This is a nightmare. This is a nightmare that actually kills you many times over. On top of your being killed with worries about the cat or the dog. So this happened, this racist criminal did his worst to provoke me, and I was not going to be provoked because of the concerns that I had for this Scudgy one. Now, how many people have been put in that kind of position by the vet's business? As for the PDSA, the People's Dispensary for Sick Animals, the PDSA that is based in Tower Hamlets, near the Bow Church, underground and DLR station, is controlled by a gang of criminals. And you haven't got any chance of any audit, any supervision of these criminals by any regulator. The Charity Commission is absolutely dead. So the manifesto, the BabyAngelGeronimo manifesto for animals and society, is intended to cover everything and to put animal care and welfare and protection safety on the highest possible level of guarantee, and any abuse by either the like of the PDSA criminals or a commercial, straightforward commercial business of bets, as happened in Woodford in East London, should be treated as a serious major crime. So I shall be continuing on all of these items and ending this particular edition at this moment at 06:48 hours GMT on Saturday the 10th of February 2024.